Let's face it, the dollar just isn't what it used to be. That's why people like you and me, we gotta be careful to get the most value for our money. That's why I come here, Taco Bell. I can feed my whole family for $5.59. 2 tacos, 2 bean burritos, 2 tostadas, pintos and cheese, soft drinks, only $5.59. Like they're saying, Taco Bell. What a meal, what a deal. No kidding. Taco Bell.
Greetings. It is time for a story. It's time to learn about a horrendous entity known as the Goofer. The Goofer. P45982, also known as Colossus Fatmore, also known as Wails of Goofermore. The Goofer is a wicked witch entity, a horrendous creature that dwells within the haunted halls of the NecroAsylum. Its Latin name, Colossus Fatmore, it speaks to its insatiable appetite and grotesque appearance. This abomination is a sight to behold, with its foul and repulsive features that evoke a sense of dread. Its skin, resembling the texture of sagging, wrinkled flesh, adds to its nightmarish visage. Open sores dot its form, oozing with putrid substances, and its nasty appearance is a reflection of the darkness that consumes it. You know when you see this. When you see an enormous sized creature that one could describe as a land whale. The Goofer's form is of massive proportions. It casts shadow of terror wherever it goes. Its repugnant appearance and grotesque physique is only amplified the horrors it inspires. It is immobile. The creature cannot move. You know when you see this, not only because of its large size, its grotesque appearance, but because it's not able to move. It can't go anywhere. And it's because it's burdened by its own revolting physique. Its own legs are too weak because of its immense size. However, my friends, you should worry about this. You should fear this entity. Though it may not be able to move on its own by natural needs, or means I should say, it does rely on a scooter to overcome its inability to move. The Wails of Goofermore, or the Goofer, relies on a specially designed mechanical scooter, and I should emphasize that it is a reinforced mechanical scooter. This contraption, strained under the weight of the creature, allows it to navigate the corridors of the asylum, emitting eerie creaks and groans as it moves. Now, there's some history to this creature. There's some horrific stories about this creature. The NecroAsylum has been shrouded in a chilling history of encounters with the Goofer, leaving witnesses traumatized, and tales of terror in its wake. Disturbing accounts reveal glimpses of this monstrosity, this entity lurking in the darkness, emitting a foul stench that heralds its presence. Rumors persist of patients and staff disappearing mysteriously, their fates, I should say, entangled with the malevolence of the Goofer. And there's some other things I should add, my friends. This entity, another characteristic, another thing that when you see this combination, this immobile creature, grotesque in form, moving on a scooter, and its enormous size, you combine that with magic. This entity knows magic. I'm talking ancient Wiccan, pagan rituals. And it works, though. As silly as it sounds, the Latin phrases that this creature utters somehow works for it. Not only that, the reason why it's called the Goofer, my friends, is because of the dust this creature shoots as a projectile. This creature will scoop dust from its nether regions. I can't say anymore. Kids could be present. And will blow it. And that dust is extremely toxic, very acidic, burns on contact. The dust is believed to be Goofer dust. What's Goofer dust, my friends? Google it. It's pretty gnarly. But this ancient creature, it is a real creature, my friends. You might think of it as a cryptid, but as a creature within the walls in the NecroAsylum. There's one harrowing story that tells of a young nurse that stumbled upon the Goofer during her nightly rounds. The sight of its repulsive form and the tormenting cries that emanated from its twisted mouth haunted her nightmares, forever etching the horrors of that encounter into her memory. Then there's stories of the Goofer tormenting children, somehow leaving the NecroAsylum, being spotted in the real world, in our world. Tormenting kids, blowing Goofer dust, burning their faces, burning their little bodies, and she laughing. All while that happens. Now, I have a story about an encounter with the Goofer, with the Wails of Goofermore, that really details how we've gotten to know this creature. The year is 1848, and field operatives from the company, we'll just say the company, managed to no-clip into the backrooms to venture deeper into the NecroAsylum for further exploration. During their mission, they stumble upon a large, bulging mass of tumorous flesh that they had thought was a Wails of Goofermore, which is another entity. But further exploration, they had found that this entity is not capable of moving, which is very different from the Wails of Goofermore. A Wails of Goofermore is a large, bloated landwell of a creature, but they are able to move quite fast, actually, and are actually able to breathe quite well. It's almost as if that largeness is a shell for something inside. The company was bewildered by this and had asked the operatives to transport the entity for further research. A full autopsy would have been ordered. They would have had operatives try to do something there, or had operatives take the entity to the company to do a autopsy. But the sheer weight of the creature made transporting it impossible. Transporting to anywhere that would be deemed safe enough to do an autopsy. A forensic team could not be sent in either due to the increased activity within the NecroAsylum, and the field units were pulled back. 2 years later, 2 years later, my friends, a team was sent back into the backrooms, back into the NecroAsylum, to then observe what would be identified as the Goofer. This creature was very similar to the previous. Okay? Approximately 500 pounds of bloated flesh, pus or other substances oozing from its open sores. It had labored breathing, but it was immobile. Well, not quite. The creature depended on a mechanized scooter, a reinforced mechanized scooter, to help it move about. The field operatives observed from a distance, taking notes and capturing information for the company. When they were attacked by the Smiler, the field operatives took evasive action, showered the Smiler with a barrage of gunfire. But as if this moment was not bad enough, the Goofer took this opportunity to reveal its distinctive quality. The land well of a creature motorized towards the field operatives that were busy, and it was shooting dust from its nether regions. Picked it up and blew it out. Now, this dust burned the walls upon contact, and one of the operators found firsthand that it could also burn through layers of protective gear within a matter of seconds. The field operatives fired rounds onto the creature, and the bullets tore through the mounds of flesh. But the creature did not stop. This entity did not stop. It chased after them. The Goofer chased after them. Not with a lot of speed, mind you. I wouldn't really call it a chase, but it just kept on coming. And a field operative fired a burst at its head, but the creature uttered some Latin, and the bullets seemed to have collided to a protective shield of some sort. Like I said, the magic seems to work with this thing. It's beyond imagination. It's unfathomable, but it worked. Numerous other entities, some familiar, some unknown, began to appear on the sidelines as this brought a lot of attention. And the NecroAsylum is a very, very unsafe, very dangerous place to be. If you're in the NecroAsylum, you're on borrowed time. In fact, if you're in the backrooms, you already know it's unsafe. You already know something is watching and could be coming for you. But if you're in the NecroAsylum, 100% guaranteed, you're being watched. Your presence is aware, like they are aware of your presence. You just better do what you need to do and get out quickly. Okay? Well, all this gunfire, all this exchange of attacks did not help. But thinking quickly, one of the operators targeted the mechanized scooter. It realized this thing's moving on a scooter. Let's target it. It fired shots at it. But this is reinforced, okay? And it was not able to penetrate the steel. Was not able to penetrate that metal. Okay. Then the operator thought of using a grenade. Lobbed a grenade over there. Grenade exploded. And whatever spell the creature had used to protect its face did not protect its scooter. The Goofer was stuck in its tracks with a broken scooter. The field operatives were able to leave the scene, but they were not able to capture the Goofer. They were not able to bring the Goofer in for further study. Though you could say all the field operatives made it out of the NecroAsylum alive. The one that received burns from the Goofer experienced rather bizarre ailments. The affected skin had begun necrosis, and after being treated, he suffered fever and extreme headaches. 3 days later, blood was pouring out from his orifices. His organs began to liquefy. He did not make it. This man was a family man. He had a family. The field operative name was Eric. And his body remained in the company for reasons. He could not be buried. There was a funeral with a closed casket. There was nothing in that casket. His body was not burned because that was money there. The company was not going to burn that. We're going to research that. Though the body remained in the company, within the walls of the company, deep within, for future study, rumor has it that the ghosts will hunt places to warn others of the presence of the goofer. For my friends, I need to tell you, though this creature has really been in the NecroAsylum, I need to warn you and remind you that these creatures do venture and veer into our reality. And the goofer has been spotted outside, has been seen to be active and out of the NecroAsylum, trying to assimilate and attack, and then slip back in. How a creature that immense in size is able to do that, I am not sure. How the creature was able to get its mechanized scooter repaired in the NecroAsylum, I'm not sure either. Maybe some of these grotesque entities are able to do maintenance. We don't know. But this is the story. This is the story of the Wails of Goofermore, the goofer. Which we do have a story that we will tell later on, and how a particular Wails of Nevermore became this Wails of Goofermore. But that is a story for another time. That is a story that relates to the story that's very similar to the Snail Lord. But we'll get to that. With that said, my friends, I hope you enjoyed this story. And while you might think it's a thing of fiction, while you might think I'm just telling you a story here, be warned. Because these creatures have been spotted. With that said, have a good one.